The legendary actor and comedian's witty one-liners and unforgettable personality made countless people laugh. However, the death of Robin Williams in 2014 sent shockwaves around the world. Millions are still grieving over his death, 10 years after it happened. His wife has now spoken out after years of silence. Did she have a hidden agenda? What exactly was the illness? Join us as we explore the final days of the beloved actor and uncover new details. Early life and career. Among the many famous Americans born on the 21st of July, 1951, in Chicago, Illinois' St. Luke's Hospital, was Robin McLaurin Williams. His extraordinary adaptability and lasting influence on the fields of comedy and acting were hallmarks of his life and work. Williams came from a rich and varied family. The family had a life of luxury because of Robert Fitzgerald Williams, his father, who was a senior executive in the Lincoln Mercury division of the Ford Motor Company. His mother, Lori McLaurin, has a charismatic and artistic family history. She was a model. Robert and McLaurin, his two elder half-brothers from his father's first marriage and his mother's second, added depth to the family dynamic. From a young age, Williams was exposed to a wide range of influences and personalities due to his diverse family. Williams had a distinctive spiritual background as a result of growing up in a home where people's faiths were all over the map. He was brought up in his father's Episcopal faith, even though his mother was a Christian Scientist. His art frequently displayed his expansive perspective on life, which may have been influenced by his dual exposure. Williams's mother was a major figure in his upbringing and cameo in his comedic career. Inside the actor's studio, an interview Williams gave in 2001 brought up warm memories of his attempts to get his mother to laugh so that he could hold her attention. He developed his remarkable comic skill from a deep-seated craving for acceptance and companionship. His fast-paced delivery and improvised genius as a comedian are hallmarks of his mother's comedy and her reactions to his shenanigans. Education and early performing experiences paved the way for Williams's rise to fame. The first years of work. He dropped his political science degree at California's Claremont Men's College to pursue acting. He attended the College of Moran in Kentfield, California for theatrical studies, and then went on to the Juilliard School in New York City, where the legendary actor John Houseman served as his instructor. He befriended another future Hollywood star, Christopher Reeve, at Juilliard. Their friendship lasted a long time. The legendary stand-up comedy career of Robin Williams began in the San Francisco Bay Area in 1976, when the comedian was just starting. Williams went on to have an incredible career in entertainment and humor. Williams made his stand-up comedy debut at San Francisco's famed Holy City Zoo. The club, which had modest beginnings as a comedy club, became an important location for Williams. He started as a bartender, but he quickly moved on to hosting the show and delivering memorable jokes. His growth as a comedian was greatly influenced by this venue, which allowed him to refine his craft and explore other styles. Williams rose to prominence as a major player in the thriving San Francisco comedy scene of the late 1970s. Gerald Nachman, writing about the local comedy circuit, praised Williams for spearheading this revival, praising his unique style and energetic performances. Williams stood out from his peers and struck a chord with audiences with his rapid-fire delivery and improvised approach. When Williams's stand-up comedy career took off in San Francisco, he uprooted to the Golden State. The Comedy Store, a famed club that featured performances by many of the best comedians of the day, was the most prominent of these venues where he continued to play. In 1977, Williams was approached by TV producer George Schlatter at the Comedy Store about appearing on the revived Laugh-In show. Williams made his television debut on the late 1977 revival of Laugh-In, which presented his ability to a wider audience, but didn't last long. Williams also performed at the L.A. Improv for Home box office that year, which brought even more attention to his humorous talents. Even though the Laugh-In revival wasn't very successful, his early TV performances were crucial in kicking off his career with television. Williams kept his improvisational abilities strong by continuing to perform stand-up at different locations. Even outside of America, Williams' popularity was strong. He also performed internationally, including notable performances at the Fighting Cocks in England. These international shows helped him build a global fan base and demonstrated his ability to connect with diverse audiences through his unique brand of humor. Robin Williams' journey in film and television began with modest roles, but quickly escalated to stardom thanks to his unique comedic talent and improvisational skills. Film and television roles. Williams' first credited film role was in the 1977 low-budget comedy Can I Do It? Till I Need Glasses. This film, while not widely known or celebrated, marked his initial journey into the world of cinema. Even though his role was small and the film bombed, it was a stepping stone in his early career that allowed him to demonstrate his openness to varied roles and start making a name for himself in Hollywood. Popeye, directed by Robert Altman and released in 1980, was Williams's first feature picture appearance. Williams portrayed Popeye the Sailor, the title character of the popular animated film. His physical humor and unique voice gave life to the animated character, showcasing the acting chops he had developed on television. Despite Popeye's financial failure, Williams' performance was praised by reviewers and fans alike for his talent and dedication to the character. In 1978's Happy Days episode, My Favorite Orkin, Williams got his big break when Gary Marshall cast him as the extraterrestrial Mork. When requested to sit down during his audition, Williams, who was brought in at the last minute to replace an actor who was leaving, famously sat on his head, displaying his eccentric sense of humor. He landed the part because of his unique approach, which also displayed his humorous talent. The success of Mork's participation in Happy Days prompted the 1978 debut of the spin-off comedy Mork and Mindy. From 1981 to 1982, the show was on TV, co-starring Pam Dawber. Mork and Mindy allowed Williams to develop the character in a modern environment, unlike Happy Days, which was set in the 1950s in Milwaukee. The show is set in the current day in Boulder, Colorado. He was able to completely display his humorous talent since the program was tailored to allow his severe improvisations in language and demeanor. It was because of the show's immense popularity that Williams became a well-known figure, and at the height of its popularity, Mork and Mindy had a weekly viewership of 60 million people. His depiction of the character Mork, who is funny, struck a connection with the crowd. James Poniewazek, a reviewer, asserts that the young audience of the concert was captivated by Williams' representation of a man and a kid, which he described as a vibrant, naive, and endless source of ideas. The play could draw in a big audience because of the conflicting attributes that his character possessed, which included innocence and knowledge. The smash successful comedy Mork and Mindy was a major contributor to the rapid climb to stardom that Robin Williams experienced. The renowned figure Mork was widely featured on a variety of merchandise throughout his rise to recognition, including posters, coloring books, lunchboxes, and a wide range of other items. A significant indicator of the character's influence, and Williams' knack for entertaining audiences of all generations, is the character's enormous popularity, which is clear proof of both. With the publication of this cover story, he had at long last established himself as a major celebrity in the entertainment sector. Not only did the feature film acknowledge his accomplishments on television, but it also introduced him to a larger audience, which paved the path for his future ventures in stand-up comedy and film. Following his breakthrough on television, Williams began to extend his audience with his stand-up comedy performances. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, he became well known all over the world for his spontaneous performances that were full of energy. The live album, Reality, What a Concept, which was released by Williams in 1979, was recorded at the Copacabana in New York City. When he was awarded the Grammy for Best Comedy Album for this performance, his status as a pioneer in the comedy industry was not only strengthened, but also confirmed. Because of the success of the record, it was demonstrated that Williams was able to effortlessly transition from television to live performances, demonstrating his versatility and vast appeal. In contrast to his remarkable success in the television and stand-up comedy industries, Williams's early endeavors in the film industry were not successful. His acting career did not take off following those performances, even though he had roles in films such as Club Paradise and The Survivors. Despite all of these challenges, Williams continued to pursue a career in film, with the expectation of landing a role that would provide him with the opportunity to shine. During the 58th Academy Awards, which took place in 1986, Williams served as a co-host alongside Alan Alda and Jane Fonda. In the process of searching for the ideal film role to launch his career, This high-profile production demonstrated that the industry recognized and valued his charisma and technical expertise. In 1987, Williams had his breakout performance in Good Morning Vietnam, directed by Barry Levinson. Williams portrayed Adrian Cronauer, a Vietnam War-era radio host for the Armed Forces radio service in Saigon, in the film. Williams' theatrical chops were shown in his role, which entertained the troops with sarcasm and comedy. The part of the genie that Robin Williams voiced in the 1992 Disney animated musical Aladdin is among his most famous performances. The director's decision to cast Williams in the role was a nod to his exceptional comic flair and improvisational abilities. Williams was the inspiration for the character. The directors took a huge gamble by casting Williams in the role, believing he could give the genie life like no other performer. Even though it was a custom role, Williams was hesitant to take part at first. The fact that he did not want his involvement to be turned into a cash cow by Disney for good sales was the main reason for his hesitation. Williams declared, "I'm doing it basically because I want to be part of this animation tradition," when asked why she agreed to play the part. "Something for my kids is what I desire. I just do not wish to sell anything, like Burger King, toys, or anything else." Because of his remarkable improvisational skills, Williams's portrayal of the genie was revolutionary. He captured over 30 hours of conversation, with a lot of it being improvised. Because of this leeway for improv, Williams was able to inject the role with his characteristic wit and vivacity. He mimicked the voices of several famous people, such as Ed Sullivan, Jack Nicholson, Robert De Niro, Groucho Marx, Rodney Dangerfield, William F. Buckley Jr., Peter Lorre, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Arsenio Hall, showcasing his versatility and comedic genius. Williams's portrayal of the genie became one of his most recognized and beloved roles. The film itself was the highest-grossing movie of 1992, demonstrating the widespread appeal of Williams's performance. The genie character resonated with audiences of all ages, and Williams' energetic and humorous interpretation played a significant role in the film's success. In 2009, Williams was named a Disney Legend, an honor that acknowledged his significant contributions to the Disney legacy. Robin Williams often credited Robert De Niro as a significant influence on his acting technique. Williams absorbed De Niro's teachings on the significance of conversation economy and the transformational potential of quiet. Williams gained new insight into performance from De Niro's approach to acting, which frequently employs subtlety and restraint and highlights the idea that less is more. Williams also looked up to Dustin Hoffman, who co-starred with him in Steven Spielberg's 1991 picture Hook. Hoffman, who was renowned for his ability to completely morph his characters on stage, taught Williams the significance of thoroughly researching and practicing each role before tackling them. Williams mastered the art of physical and mental transformation while working with Hoffman, allowing him to bring his roles to life with genuine authenticity. This method had a profound effect on Williams's performances, allowing him to bring nuance and authenticity to a diverse cast of characters. Significant collaborations and guest appearances during Williams' latter career demonstrated his lasting brilliance and adaptability. Together with Robert De Niro, he made an appearance on Saturday Night Live in 2010. Williams appeared in two 2012 episodes of Louie and Wilfred, both on FX, in the role of himself. At the Baghdad Zoo, Robin Williams debuted on Broadway in 2011 Inches, Bengal Tiger, a play by Rajiv Joseph. Williams' career reached a new high point, with the play's The 31st of March 2011, opening at the Richard Rodgers Theater. He had the chance to perform on one of the world's most famous stages thanks to his part in the play. The move to Broadway showcased Williams' dedication to pushing himself and broadening his artistic palette. He solidified his reputation as an extraordinarily gifted and adaptable actor with his critically acclaimed performance. The personal life of Robin Williams, who was famous for his acting chops and comedic genius, was characterized by remarkable relationships and familial tensions. Personal life. The ups and downs of his public career were mirrored in his path through marriage and children. In June 1978, Williams wed Valerie Velarda, who would later become his first wife. Williams met her future wife in 1976 while working as a bartender in San Francisco. Williams was still finding his footing as a comic during this time, and Velarde was there to provide a helping hand. In 1983, Zachary Pym, Zach Williams, was born to them. But there were problems in the marriage, and in 1988, they filed for a divorce. Williams allegedly started an affair with Marcia Garces, Zachary's nanny, in 1986, while he was married to Velarde. When asked about her connection with Garces, Velarde said it started after her split from Williams in the 2018 documentary Robin Williams Come Inside My Mind. Zelda Ray Williams was born to Williams and Garces on the 30th of April 1989, at the age of 6 months into their marriage. Garces had been an important figure in Williams' life. In 1991, the couple had their second child, Cody Allen Williams. By 2008, Garces had filed for a divorce, claiming that the couple had irreconcilable problems, ending their marriage. In 2010, they formalized their divorce. Williams rekindled his love affair with Susan Schneider, a graphic designer. They tied the knot in St. Helena, California on the 22nd of October 2011. During Williams's most difficult times, including his battles with health problems and his tragic death in 2014, Schneider was there for him. Robin Williams and Susan Schneider lived in the charming San Francisco suburb of Seacliff. Williams' family had a peaceful and picturesque existence in this location, which is famous for its breathtaking views of the Golden Gate Bridge and the Pacific Ocean. The bonds he shared with his children had great significance for Williams. Williams frequently spoke highly of his children and the happiness they brought into his life, establishing him as a doting and caring parent. Zelda, his daughter, has spoken out about her father's encouragement of her artistic pursuits and profession. Williams frequently spoke about how amazed and proud he was of his children. "My children inspire awe in me as I see them grow into such remarkable people," he said once. Watching his children succeed in life brought him much joy and contentment, and this emotion reflects that. In the middle of his hectic professional life, he found solace and joy in his connections with his 3 children, Cody, Zelda, and Zach. Williams enjoyed role-playing games on both consoles and paper. He frequently made his appreciation for various types of entertainment known to the public. The naming of his daughter Zelda, after the main character in the beloved video game series The Legend of Zelda, is one of the most heartfelt manifestations of his devotion to video games. This series was more than simply a passing fascination for Williams. At consumer entertainment trade exhibitions, he would occasionally perform, revealing his true love for gaming. Robin Williams had a rough patch with addiction in the 70s and 80s, a time that stood in stark contrast to his successful career. He sought solace in drugs like did many others in his peer group in the entertainment world during the height of his stardom. Substance abuse was common in Williams' social circles, and he eventually became dependent on them. John Belushi, the celebrated Saturday Night Live comic and actor, was a casual acquaintance of Williams. The death of Belushi from a drug overdose on the 5th of March 1982 had a devastating effect on Williams. The fact that they had partied together the night before Belushi's death affected Williams deeply. This terrible event served as a wake-up call, along with the birth of his son Zach. Williams pondered whether or not this time served as a wake-up call. The grand jury was also really helpful, you know. Williams was driven to stop by the weight of parenting and the reality of a friend's addiction. Williams looked for better methods to handle his life and overcome his depression following Belushi's death. A key component of his regimen became exercise, namely cycling, which he embraced. In addition to relieving stress, cycling offered a great way to get some fresh air and exercise. Williams said that riding had a life-saving effect on him, according to Tony Tom, who owns a bike store. He found a therapeutic outlet in cycling, with its combination of physical activity and mental concentration, which helped him overcome his addiction and sadness. Williams had further difficulties to overcome, even if he had initially succeeded in doing so. In 2003, while working on the film The Big White in Alaska, Williams started drinking again. This relapse was a huge setback in his battle with addiction. By 2006, he recognized the need for professional help and checked into a substance misuse rehabilitation center in Newberg, Oregon. He publicly acknowledged his struggle with alcoholism, demonstrating his willingness to confront his issues head-on. Williams's openness about his addiction was an important step in his recovery. He admitted his failure to maintain sobriety, but he was adamant that he never returned to substance misuse, as he stated in a 2010 interview. In March 2009, Robin Williams was confronted with a profound health concern that required immediate medical attention. While Williams was on his one-man tour, he suffered from cardiac difficulties that ultimately led to his admission to the hospital. Because of his erratic heartbeat, he decided to postpone his trip to undergo surgery to repair his mitral valve, replace his aortic valve, and replace his mitral valve. On the 13th of March 2009, this intricate operation was carried out at the Cleveland Clinic, which is a prominent medical institution that is well known for its competence in the treatment of cardiovascular conditions. Williams was able to rehabilitate and eventually return to his cherished career after the operation was completed, even though it highlighted the severity of the health problems he was experiencing. Midway through the year 2014, Williams went to the Hazelden Foundation Addiction Treatment Center in Center City, Minnesota, to receive treatment for excessive alcohol consumption. His continuous issue with substance abuse was brought to light by his return to rehabilitation, which was a battle that he had been fighting sporadically throughout his whole life. The struggle that Williams had with severe depression was well chronicled, particularly by those who were close to him personally. A statement made by his publicist, Mara Buchsbaum, indicated that he was struggling with serious depression before his passing. Having problems with his physical health made this fight with his mental health much more difficult to manage. It was reported by his wife, Susan Schneider, that Williams had been diagnosed with early-stage Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is a neurological ailment that impairs mobility and frequently comes with psychological symptoms such as anxiety and despair. According to Schneider, Williams was not yet prepared to disclose his Parkinson's disease diagnosis to the general public, which is an indication of the significant emotional toll that it had on him. On the 11th of August 2014, the body of Robin Williams, who was 63 years old at the time of his death, was discovered inside his house in Paradise Cay, California. A terrible culmination of the enormous physical and psychological strains imposed by Lewy body disease. His death was a devastating conclusion to the sickness. Williams was found to have diffuse Lewy bodies, a form of dementia that had been incorrectly identified as Parkinson's disease, according to the findings of an autopsy performed after his passing. Cognitive impairment, hallucinations, and significant shifts in mental state are just some of the symptoms that can be brought on by Lewy body dementia, a devastating disorder that can produce a wide range of symptoms. The bewilderment and grief that Williams endured in his final months were exacerbated by the incorrect diagnosis that was given to him. A significant number of the symptoms that he had might be attributed to the existence of Lewy bodies. These symptoms included severe sadness, anxiety, and a decline in his cognitive abilities at the same time. A heartfelt essay written by Robin Williams' widow, Susan Schneider, was published in the journal Neurology 2 years after the tragic death of Robin Williams. The severe impact that Lewy body disease had on Williams' life was described in tremendous depth and with a great deal of emotional intensity in this article. Schneider disclosed the fact that several medical professionals had stated that the pathology of Lewy body disease that was discovered in Williams was among the most severe they had ever encountered. The severity of the disease that Williams experienced was brought into sharper focus by this gloomy evaluation, which also shed light on the significant challenges that he encountered in his last months. October 2013, Schneider claims that the initial manifestations of Williams' illness began to present themselves. In the beginning, he was plagued with a rapid and persistent increase in dread, worry, tension, and sleeplessness. These symptoms were alarming and unusual, marking the beginning of a rapid and distressing decline in his mental and physical health. As the disease progressed, Williams' symptoms worsened in severity and variety, encompassing memory loss, paranoia, and delusions. These symptoms are characteristic of Lewy body dementia, which can severely impact both cognitive and psychological functions. The mental and emotional toll on Williams was immense. Schneider described how Williams was acutely aware of the changes occurring in his mind and body, which added to his distress. He frequently expressed a desire to reboot his brain, highlighting his desperation and the profound impact the disease had on his cognitive abilities. Schneider claims that Robin was aware that he was losing his mind and that he was continuing to do so. "I simply want to reset my head," he kept saying again and over again. Schneider offered a very personal viewpoint on Williams' struggle with Lewy body disease in the article that she wrote. She detailed the traumatic experience of witnessing her husband, a guy who was well known for his quick wit and unlimited imagination, struggle with an illness that ruthlessly undermined his mental skills. She revealed how she felt at that moment. Her descriptions offered a clear picture of the difficulties they encountered daily, including the management of his symptoms and the pursuit of solutions from medical authorities. Susan Schneider Williams, the wife of Robin Williams, gave a description of Lewy body disease, which was a condition that her husband suffered from in his latter years. Her portrayal was both eerie and compelling. It was her way of portraying the unrelenting and destructive character of the ailment that she referred to the sickness as the terrorist that was operating within my husband's head. The existence of Lewy bodies, which are aberrant protein deposits that impair the normal working of the brain, was the underlying reason for his pain, according to Schneider, who emphasized that the diagnosis of Parkinson's disease was not the only factor contributing to his misery. How we talk about and comprehend brain disorders is significantly different from how we talk about and comprehend ailments such as depression, as Schneider pointed out in her remarks. She pointed out that sadness is frequently analyzed via a psychological perspective, but conditions such as LBD have their origins firmly planted in the field of neurology. Schneider stressed that Williams' despair was not only a single psychiatric condition, but rather a manifestation of liquid behavior disorder. She bemoaned the fact that our culture does not possess the terminology and understanding necessary to comprehend and discuss brain disorders appropriately. The twofold nature of the loss was expressed in a movable manner by Schneider. While I was grieving the loss of my spouse and my closest friend, the world was also mourning the loss of one of its most cherished artists and most beautiful people. I am completely and utterly upset. The profound emptiness that Williams' loss has left behind is brought to light by her remarks, which represent the personal and social sadness that followed his passing of Williams. Zelda Williams, Williams' daughter, also conveyed her sadness and the tremendous impact that her father's passing had on her during the conference. In her observation, she stated that the world would always be a little bit darker, less colorful, and less full of joy since he was no longer there. Zelda's comment is illustrative of the one-of-a-kind and irreplaceable joy that Robin Williams brought into the lives of people who knew him directly, as well as those who adored him from a distance. In addition to his remarkable career in the entertainment industry, Robin Williams is lauded for the considerable contributions he has made to charitable causes. Robin Williams, along with fellow comedians Whoopi Goldberg and Billy Crystal, was one of the individuals who established Comic Relief USA in the year 1986. This annual HBO television benefit was dedicated to raising funds for the homeless, a cause that Williams felt deeply passionate about. Over the years, Comic Relief USA became a significant force in charity, raising $80 million by 2014. Bob Zmuda, the creator of Comic Relief, explained that Williams's involvement was driven by a sense of gratitude and responsibility. Williams, who grew up in a wealthy household, felt a profound obligation to help those less fortunate. His desire to give back to the community was not just about financial contributions, but also about using his platform to raise awareness and inspire others to take action. Beyond his work with Comic Relief, Williams was a fervent supporter of various other causes. Because he was aware that education is a potent instrument for bringing about social change, he made several appearances at benefit events to show his support for literacy projects. Williams also participated in activities and projects that were aimed at promoting gender equality and strengthening women. She pushed for women's rights and advocated for their rights. The charity work that Williams did included assisting veterans and active military people. Through his consistent performances on the United Service Organization tour, he was able to bring both humor and relief to service members stationed in various locations throughout the world. Through the course of his career, Williams performed for roughly 90,000 military personnel in 13 different nations. His excursions to military installations and medical facilities were characterized by his genuine care for the health and happiness of service personnel and the families of those who served. Following Williams's passing, the United Service Organization issued a statement expressing its heartfelt thanks for his efforts and highlighting the enormous influence he had on the morale of the troops. Throughout the history of the entertainment industry, Robin Williams has left an unmistakable impression. Through his extraordinary talent for combining comedy with profound emotional resonance, he was able to connect with audiences on several different levels. His legacy will be remembered for his unlimited inventiveness, boundless joy, and boundless empathy, even though he struggled with mental health and addiction. You should click the next video that appears on your screen, as well as like and subscribe to this video if you find it entertaining.